here at Ramani. And on behalf of the Ramani family, I'd like to take the opportunity to welcome you all to our very first Product Launch Day 2025. We are truly honored to have you here with us. Now, when we first started planning about today, we initially thought of only having an intimate in-person gathering of our customers and partners. But due to the overwhelming support from the community, from all of you, we had to expand that invitation. And let me tell you, we are glad we did. Today is about bold ideas, the kind that ask not just how to imagine a better future, but how to help build it. We are here to talk about where Tanzania is going and the vital role the private sector has in driving that future forward. To our partners in the banking community, brands, customers, distributors, and yes, Mom and Dad. Thank you. Thank you for being together with us on this watershed moment. Today, you'll hear from our CEO, our CTO, partners, and customers, each with a unique perspective and a shared vision. Also note that today's event is fully hybrid. So to all of you joining us online, I would like to say karibuni sana. So, to kick us off right, it is my honor and my privilege to welcome to the stage my boss, our founder, our CEO, but most importantly, my brother, Iain Usiri.
Everyone, another round of applause for Joel. So Joel just finished his master's in epidemiology from the University of Washington. He finished this year and then he joined Ramani. We're so happy to have him. We're very proud of him. So we have a long morning ahead of us, so why don't we get started? When German boots first walked this place in the 1880s, they found a population of 3 million people. For context, at the time, Germany had 45 million people. We were outsized. And so we were plunged into a century of colonial rule. Until 1961, when the weight of history settled on the shoulders of a 39-year-old school teacher who was tasked with the incredible responsibility of winning freedom for his people. You see, he was part of a global group of revolutionary leaders that were taking advantage of a changing world order, partly because of the destruction of World War II, partly because of the invention of the nuclear bomb. They saw a window, an opportunity to win independence from old colonial powers. Mwalimu Nyerere took over a country of over 100 tribes, now 11 million people. And from then, that country grew. We tasted the sweetness of peace, but also the bitterness of war. We tried new ideas. We made mistakes. We stumbled. But we also got back up and kept persevering, kept growing. And today, that country of 3 million, then 11 million, is now 70 million strong. And in 10 years, we're going to have 100 million people, which is the same population that the US had when they invented the atomic bomb. What I'm trying to say is that we've closed the population gap. And now it's time to close the prosperity gap. Because each of those 100 million people are going to need bread to eat, a bed to sleep in, and a source of light to see. Which means we need to change how we make things, how we share things, and how we pay for things in order to realize a future with so much potential. This question of closing the prosperity gap sits at the heart of why we started Ramani. Picture this: two brothers, one 23, the other 26, one a foodie, the other a techie, standing in front of their family home. Behind them in rolls an ancient Kenta, old, no paint, one working wheel. The engine sounds like it's begging for retirement, okay? Their team comes along behind them to unload bags of flour and sacks of sugar that they're going to sell the next day. The next day, they go and visit neighborhood shops, selling those bags of flour and sugar and logging those sales into a mobile app that those brothers built for themselves, built at 2 a.m. No luku, na Wi-Fi ya jirani. What Calvin and I learned, now I want you to picture those brothers applying for a loan, standing in line with collateral in hand, trying to grow that business. I want you to imagine their frustration when they got denied. What Calvin and I learned is that the lessons and the challenges that we were experiencing trying to run our own business could be used to help other distributors. First, with the technology that we had built for ourselves, other distributors could use that technology to run their own businesses. Next, we could give them access to working capital loans so that they could grow their business. We could now bridge the gap between small businesses and working capital collateral free. We gave our first collateral free loan in 2021. We signed a $32 million Series A in 2022. We partnered with Stanbic Bank in 2024, and then we added TCB Bank in 2025, all while doing 700 billion shillings in total disbursements. And all that brings us here today, 5 years later. Good morning. It's so wonderful to have all of you, all our friends, our partners, Mr. Mehta, Mr. Max, Dad. I see my sister Winnie was here. Thank you everyone for coming. So this morning, we're presenting to the world for the first time how Ramani is building for 100 million Tanzanians. We'll share our credit philosophy. We'll provide an in-depth breakdown of our technology. And finally, we'll announce an incredible new product between Stanbic and Ramani for our customers. We'll then move to a more intimate panel discussion with thought leaders from the finance and manufacturing world. We'll then also invite some of our customers, our distributor customers, to come here and talk about their experience with Ramani and how they're finding success and the challenges of serving such a fast-growing population. I'm also happy to say that the head of sales of Coca-Cola Nyanza, which was one of our original customers, is here with us, and he's going to talk about how Ramani, how they're using our technology to run their operations, as well as grow their distributor network. And we're going to punctuate this event with an award ceremony to share our gratitude to some of our key partners and distributors. And we'll try to finish before midday. All right? Let's get started. So the number one question that I get from my friends, my family is, Iain, what does Ramani do again? Okay, I know that you give credit, and I know you've told me this about 100 times, but what do you do again? So today I'm here to demystify what we do. In short, Ramani partners with brands like Coca-Cola, like Vivo, like Serengeti Breweries, to provide their distributors with inventory on 30-day terms. Let's say, for example, that you're a distributor for Coca-Cola. You can now come onto our platform, you place an order, we pay Coca-Cola on day 0. Coca-Cola then delivers to you, and then we give you 30 days to sell that product, and then you pay us back our principal plus a small margin, and that's how we make money. Now, you're probably wondering, what's so unique? 30-day loans have been here, banks have been doing this. What makes Ramani so special? At the heart of what we do, or what makes us so different, is how we manage risk. And to understand that, let's look at the world without Ramani, before we got involved. Let's talk about a traditional 30-day loan. For a traditional 30-day loan, we like to say that a bank has visibility in 2 days. On day 1, when the borrower, the distributor, comes in, they come with their cash, with their transaction history, their bank statements. They come with their trading history. They come with their credit reference score. And the bank does a full underwriting, a 360 view of that customer. And let's say they say, you're good to go, here's a loan. At that point, they essentially say goodbye until day 30. Maybe they'll send an RM to check the warehouse on day 15. But essentially, they're saying goodbye until day 30 when the customer pays, or in this example, the customer doesn't pay. But now you're caught being reactive, right? You wonder, did they even receive the stock? Did they sell it? Did they have a slow month? Is it still in the warehouse? Were there returns? Was there any damage? Or maybe anything worse? You're caught being reactive. So if a traditional lender or a traditional loan says, here's a traditional loan, it says, here's a loan, I'll see you in 30 days. Ramani says, here's a loan, and I'll see you tomorrow. And I'll see you every day throughout the life cycle of the loan. So in this example here, we underwrite the same customer, and we approve them for a loan. But what we're able to do is track them every single day throughout the life cycle and assess their credit risk. So in this example, this customer gets risky on day 4. And we see early indications of risk. What can we do? We can step in, call the customer, communicate with them, understand their challenges, and have them rehabilitated, course correct them. And by day 10, they are good to go. They're back to green. And in this example, this customer remains green throughout the life cycle of the loan until day 30. So this is what makes us different. But now you might be wondering, how is this possible? How do we make this happen? And how do we do this at a national scale? It all starts with our technology. What we've done is that we've built the experience from the distributor's perspective first. We've digitized all inflows and all outflows of inventory and cash for the distributor. And then we use that visibility to assess risk in real time, unlocking affordable credit capital. First, we'll be announcing this technology stack for you today. First, we're going to start with Ramani's point-of-sale system and inventory management tools that we use to show what's in stock and what's being sold in the market. Next, we'll have Ramani's procurement tools, which show us what the distributor is ordering, the product mix, as well as any delays from the brand side. After that, we're going to show you Ramani's national, real-time camera network, which gives us direct line of sight into the inventory that we have financed for the distributor. And then we're going to expand on our financial marketplace, which we launched last year with Stanbic Bank. Our CTO is going to come on stage to expand more on each vertical in the product stack. I want to speak a little bit about the financial marketplace. You see, historically, we actually developed all of this technology for our in-house use. What we would do is actually we would borrow from investors internationally, we'd bring the money here, and then we would lend out directly to customers. And then last year, or a couple of years ago, we decided to open up our technology and open up our network to domestic partners, rather than providing the capital ourselves, and allow domestic investors and capital providers to actually lend to small businesses. So our first flagship partner was Stanbic Bank, and I'm happy to say that that partnership is going phenomenally well. It's been growing really fast, but also the book has been incredibly stable. So we're incredibly proud of that portfolio. To close, the reason that we started Ramani is that we saw a connection between disbursements and people. When you make a disbursement, there's a person that's making the delivery. There's a person that's serving a merchant. And there's also a person making a profit. Our job means that other people get jobs. And our growth means that others get to scale. And I'm incredibly excited to invite our CTO, Calvin Usiri, onto the stage to talk more about each product stack. Calvin, KARIBU.
All right, one more time for Iain, please. How are we doing this morning? We're doing well. Fantastic. My name is Calvin Usiri, and I lead product, engineering, and credit here at Ramani. Yeah. And I'm here to talk about our technology infrastructure and how it's impacting trade in the country. And I believe that the most fitting way to do that is by telling you about one of our most successful distributors. So here goes. This is Calvin. Calvin distributes hundreds of bottles of Hill water to hundreds of stores in Dar es Salaam. His tools: a paper notebook and a phone that buzzes with text messages and rings with phone calls. His challenge: a system that was not built for him. Today, we're unveiling a platform that puts Calvin in control. Let's take a look at his story. Calvin starts his day in chaos. He tracks orders, inventory, sales, all on paper. And these calls come in, and they're unscattered, and it's difficult to track records, and there's no clarity. Calvin has sales reps, and those sales reps visit customers twice a day. Once in the morning to drop off 10 cartons of Hill water, and again in the evening to pick up 3 unsold cartons, offering soft credit. He's tried foreign software. He's gone to India, he's gone to Kenya to find some relief. But it didn't understand Tanzania's rhythm. He was not able to check in at the same merchant on the same day, therefore missing valuable data. You can't track outgoing stock, and you can't track returning stock. Also, there was no TRA integration, just costly double entry, once on the TRA machine to print out the receipt, and again on the handheld to create the order. We built what Calvin needed. Yeah. So today, I'm happy to announce the Ramani point of sale solution that thrives in Tanzania. Ramani POS. ladies and gentlemen. The Ramani POS lets customers register stores, track merchants, take orders, and track damaged stock. It's GPS enabled with geofencing so that Calvin knows that his reps are on site. You're allowed double check-in, so you can check in the morning to drop off stock and check in the evening to pick up what was not sold. And it works offline. So kama una mtandao, it's okay. Yeah. This is the tool that helps Calvin stay on track in the fast-moving consumer goods world. To date, we have processed over 1.6 million orders through this platform. And we have registered over 86,000 merchants. Those are people that are purchasing, institutions, schools, purchasing through this platform. And that includes phone numbers, names, and purchasing power. And what about inventory controls? How does Calvin see his stock? Well, we've built a warehouse application for Ramani, for Calvin, replacing his paper notebooks. Calvin can now see real-time stock. He can track damaged stock. He can assign sales and stock to his salespeople and trucks. If he's low on hill water, he'll get an alert prompting him to restock. This is not reacting, it's commanding his supply chain, ensuring that his shop is well stocked and Calvin stays ahead. Yeah. And what about his old ordering process? The endless phone calls, the text messages, a headache. We built procurement into WhatsApp, where he already works. He can chat to suppliers, take orders, view repayments, no new updates, no new learning curves. Built for him. Yeah. Yeah. And how does Calvin know that stock has moved over time? Or what if he has multiple locations? Nyanza, you're in Dodoma, you're in Dar es Salaam. How do you know that your stock is moving and that there is activity? Well, our AI cameras are Calvin's eyes across his network. Foreign cameras were too expensive, unreliable, and stuck in supply chain limbo. We built ours, affordable, fixable by Tanzanian engineers, and reliable. Yeah. Calvin can verify stock, he can verify activity, all from the palm of his hand. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to announce the Ramani Edge system, an AI-powered camera system built for our supply chain. Yeah. So to summarize, just a few key points. We've talked about sales through the Ramani POS. We've discussed inventory controls. We've talked about the procurement process through WhatsApp. And we've discussed the Ramani Edge platform, the AI cameras built for Calvin. But how does Calvin actually get funded? How does it all tie together? Well, through a 3-stage process. Stage number 1 is the risk scoring and the credit line determination. We conduct a comprehensive risk assessment to determine eligibility and the credit line that we would give Calvin if we were to lend to him at all. This takes about an hour to complete. Stage 2 is the KYC, KYB process. We run through a thorough background check on shareholders and the business in whole. And the last stage is the site verification stage, whereby we do on-site visits and we use our AI cameras before first disbursement, that's done by the credit team, to verify activity. So we have a double confirmation of activity at the site. We've partnered with Mwema advocates to help us run through this due diligence process. We have a decentralized, disintegrated process, and they've helped us scale across multiple industries. And today, I'm thrilled to introduce and to invite Ms. Huzla Mchata from Mwema Advocates to talk more about this partnership. Karibu sana. Karibu sana.
Asante.
Karibu. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what Mwema does within the financial ecosystem?
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Mwema Advocate is a pre-litigation law firm, and we specialize in 2 categories. One is reactive, and then the second part is proactive. So when you discuss about reactive, we're talking about when things have already gone wrong. So you call us in to help give you the right support. Some of the things we do there is strategic recovery. We do mediation and negotiations. We also offer police support. This is during the opening of the cases at the police until the follow-ups, until the case is ready to go to court. Now we go to proactively. And we discuss proactively, we're discussing about 2 main categories. One is the training. So we offer trainings in fraud and anti-money laundering. But the second one, which is one of the biggest, and where we partner with Ramani, is due diligence. And in due diligence, we look at 3 things. One is KYE, know your employees. Because for safety, you have to start at home. You need to make sure where you're at, it is actually good and you're working with the right people. Number 2, we have collateral management. And in collateral management, what does this mean? We've all been there. You've given a loan to someone, they've brought collateral, which is a house, and then you go check that house when it's time for collecting, and you find out hakuna nyumba. Or worse still, the quality of the house which is there does not meet the loan that was being given. Sasa hapo ndo kidogo mtihani unakuja. And the thirdly now, which is the biggest point, is KYC. Know your customer. Like we said, you know your employee to make sure your house is good, but know your customer as well. When people bring you documents, are they okay? Are they genuine? Because people say they're businessmen. Are they really doing this business? So that is Mwema in a nutshell.
And I'm sure that there are
Thank you.
I'm sure that there are multiple horror stories that you can share with everyone over coffee.
Oh. Yes, definitely.
But let's talk a little bit more about the documents that you ask for.
Yes.
What kind of documents do you ask from borrowers?
So from borrowers, we look at, one, what industry are they in? Because what someone who does business in liquor will be different from someone who does fuel. So the documentation we asked for first is your umbrella. Are you actually a company? Do you exist? And then we come to your tax clearances. We need to know how you've been handling this, of course. And then business licenses. Can you actually do what you say you're doing? And then we go and look at now specific based on the field. So if it's in the fuel industry, we'll look at your EURA certification. So we have a plethora of documents that are required. And most of the time, these are asked during the intake, before the loan is given.
And I think this is a question that a lot of people here want to know. What happens when you find fraudulent activity, when the books are not in order? And what does that mean for the borrower?
So for borrower, so it's 2 things. One, your reputation, so reputational damage. If it's a small business or you're a big business, it doesn't matter. When people in the industry start saying, so-and-so is not good, so-and-so provided fake documentation, it damages your reputation in general, and you might not be getting loans anymore. But secondly, there is the legal repercussions. So the verification processes, we work with government organizations to verify some of these documents that you've provided. So what happens when an institution notices that every document coming from, an example, EURA, or every document coming from TRA that is being provided is fake? or has been twinkled with. They now want to take legal obligations against you. So you might end up with your damaged reputation, with a criminal case, because forgery is a criminal case, and financial loss, because now you can no longer do business, because if you have ever attested to, running a business with a criminal case going on is one of the most difficult things you can do.
Fantastic. And to conclude, what advice would you give to other financial institutions that are here, or startups? I know there are a few fintech founders in the crowd, given our relationship.
Okay, so my advice would be, one, I know most financial institutions will say, we do this in-house. It's fine, we have our own KYC processes. But then again, we drop back to the risk factors. What are the risk factors? Because for us, with our relationship with Ramani, as a good example is, we are extended outside. So the borrowers do not know us. So the possibility of bribery or the possibility of collusion is limited. So this helps now with the financial institutions to be more comfortable that, one, we have a very quick turnaround time. Ramani can attest to that. And secondly, you assure that the person who's borrowing from you is actually who they say they are, and there are no risks, or maybe they are, but a bit less. And that is all what you can ask for.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Huzam Chata, Mwema.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Asante.
Thank you.
One more time for Mwema. Thank you so much. How's everyone doing? So far, so good. All right. Now, on to the new stuff. On to the new stuff. Traditionally, the loan disbursements process involves three major departments, three groups of people. We have the relationship management, we have collateral management and credit, and we also have the payments team that's scattered across different branches. And sometimes this process can take a bit of time. It can take a few hours to do. And when you're dealing with businesses that sell beer, Serengeti, Vituo vya Mafuta, Puma, they want their capital rapidly, very quick. And so we sat down with the exceptional team at Stanbic to devise a solution. How can we develop something that is 10x better, that's an order of magnitude better? How can we transform this process from hours to seconds? What was once a cumbersome experience for customers is now as simple as a click of a button. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm thrilled, in collaboration with Stanbic Bank, to jointly announce the new RIPA system. RIPA verifies orders, it creates loan accounts at the bank, and it initiates funds transfers from Stanbic Bank to any bank of any amount in Tanzania in seconds. Yeah. It uses advanced technology to flag disbursements that might need a second look. Within only a few moments of releasing RIPA into production, we've already processed over 2 billion Tanzanian shillings, and that is growing exponentially week on week. Stanbic and Ramani have invested 14,000 engineering hours into this product. Yeah. And to announce this jointly, I would love to invite Ms. Sharon Mujuni, the head of transactional, business, and commercial banking at Stanbic, to join me on stage so we can talk about this new era for SMB finance. Karibu sana. Thank you for being here. Please tell us, why is Stanbic so excited about trade, and how has the bank positioned itself to capitalize on that growth?
Right. Thank you, Calvin. Am I audible? Good morning, everybody.
If it's on.
I'm audible.
Yeah, it's on.
Good morning. Right. Thank you, Calvin. I think, needless to say, when you look at how Tanzania is positioned economically, the sound policies, the focus on efficient privatization, you'd obviously see that the foreign direct investment that we're seeing in the country sort of speaks to how trade will grow. Manufacturing, mining, agriculture, all these sectors that have really benefited from growth in foreign direct investment need value chains. They distribute last mile to the end user with existing distributors, suppliers, retailers. And all these players in the supply chain and that value chain are dependent on trade. When you look at East Africa, with over 80 billion in trade across the corridors, and you look at our geographic positioning for Tanzania, you don't need to be a rocket scientist, or you don't need AI to figure out that's the space to be in. Standard Bank is present across Africa, and we are the biggest bank by assets in this market. So if you look at the key geographic players, you look at the foreign direct investment in Tanzania, Stanbic Bank, specifically for this country, is led by innovation with a robust trade desk, and we customize solutions such as RIPA for these specific value chains. And our goal is to meet our customers where they are, where they play, and make their business efficient. And that's why it's exciting.
Fantastic. And why are you so excited about the new RIPA system, and why should borrowers listen?
Yeah, so Calvin, if you look at where we started, I think it's over a year ago, we launched our partnership.
Yes.
Initially, we were going to the market heavy. Heavy on resources, relationship managers, credit evaluation teams, payment teams, actively processing loans to meet the demands of distributors, to quickly disburse loans so that they can efficiently take their goods to the market, sell, and come back for more goods. That process, we started with days, hours, and after 14,000 hours of our innovation team, our product team, and our trade team, we've been able to automate this entire process end to end and disburse loans to our customers in under 1 minute.
I'd like to add, so one of our biggest customers, I feel we have a few fuel customers here. We serve the energy industry, and it's a big chunk of our portfolio. And a lot of these retail stations have cutoffs at 3 p.m. So their depots, past 3 p.m., no fuel. And so it's crucial to make sure that these processes run as quickly as possible. We started off with days, went down to hours, and now it's seconds. And our retail customers within the fuel industry are thoroughly enjoying this speed. So I think that's very important to mention for fuel specifically. And what other cool products is Stanbic working on that our distributors should know about?
Yeah, so I mean, in the country that we live in, we know that we are chasing against cash, right? Cash is immediate, cash is real. You sell, you realize value in the immediate base, right? How do you convert that to a repayment for your existing facility that's self-liquidating, and you're able to draw down again, access more capital, and then grow your business, right? And the more efficient it is, the more returns you earn as a business. So we've innovated quite a bit in the collection space, as much as we're building on the lending space, so that our customers can enjoy the benefits of efficiency on both sales and access to capital. So we've got collection solutions that provide our customers ways to collect from their retail base, their wholesale base. We have capabilities that validate payments and collections. We have capabilities that provide unique referencing if required, just to meet the technology and the space that our customers are at now. But not only where they are now, but where we're going to. when you look at 100 million
Yeah.
people in Tanzania, how do you scale on a cash basis? How do you reconcile cash? How do you manage efficiently cash and resourcing? So those are the developments that we're working with. We recently launched RIPA Simple na Stanbic, which is a retail collection solution built on Time QR. We have various other collection solutions like Pokia na Stanbic that are really capacitating players in the entire value chain to efficiently collect and make payments and access loans for their businesses.
Wow. Sounds exciting. I think I'll meet with Kente or Isaac later to inquire a little bit more. And to close, I know we have a few brands in the building. What message do you have for the brands that are in the building, that are watching remotely? What message would you like to leave them?
So for our brands in the room, the key message that we have is let's grow together. 100 million can be conquered alone. We are there to support your businesses, your distributors, grow efficiently without collateral, and to maximize and really capitalize on 100 million in Tanzania.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Misham Juni, Stanbic Bank. Thank you so much. Asante. Asante sana. Before I close, I would like to take this opportunity to also acknowledge the executors on the Stanbic side and on the Ramani side that were with me in the trenches with my team on weekends, weekdays, mornings, and evenings. I think it's very important that you also recognize. So please stand up if you're here. Isaac, if you're here. I know Frederick, Amani, if you're here, please stand up for applause. Kente, Hamaopo, Asanteni sana. Thank you so much for listening, and I'm excited to welcome you to the next product launch that will be coming very soon. Asante.
Let's hear it one more time, please, for CTO Calvin Usiri. Yeah. Oh, man. Allowing you to really focus on the things that you're supposed to focus on. Let technology help you. Let Ramani partner with you to make your back end requirements much more robust and effective. All right, so we're about to get into a panel discussion forum, but before we do that, I can see that some of us need a little bit more energy. So my request is, could you kindly be upstanding if you can, right? Just please stand up. Whilst the team is setting up for the next part, I'm going to be giving you very, very interesting cues, and just take a time to look around. I hope you know your neighbor by now. Just look around. Do you know your neighbor by name and what they do? Just look around. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Morning. All right? Very important, very important. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to tell you to sit down, but only if this applies to you. Only if this applies to you. That's when you sit down. And you have to be honest. We're honest Tanzanians, right? We're honest people. All right, so sit down if no one laughs at your jokes in the office. Really? All of your comedians in the office? Okay. This is good. Sit down if you had tea this morning. Not coffee, tea. Look at your tea people right there. Tea people. Sit down if you've had to work past 1 a.m. in the morning. Very hard workers, eh? You guys are mavericks. All right. Sit down if you are a morning person. Keynote all secret. There's only a few people standing up. Don't sit down, don't sit down. Go Kwanzia. I want to see if we can sit you down first. All right. All right, so sit down if you've been to more than 5 countries. That was a very gradual sit down. So everyone's sitting down. Thank you so much. All right, so it's just interesting to get to know one another, especially on things that you might not ordinarily know about one another. I'm about to introduce the next segment of this of this launch. And so this is interesting. So if you're in tech, just raise your hands if you're in tech, like embedded in tech. We have what, techie? Really? What's this? Are you saying buy or you want water? Are you tech? Yeah, tech, okay, tech. Beautiful. Finance. Hands up, please, finance.
I know, yeah. Okay.
Safi sana. If you are in manufacturing, extractive, Mr. Oil and Gas, how? Safi sana. Tutaongea baadaye kidogo. Very important. All right. And then, of course, make some noise if you're happy to be here. Thank you. Thank you. So without much ado, are we good to go, my colleagues? All right, I believe we're ready for the next aspect of the program. Should I invite CTO back again, Calvin? Unfortunately, because of the lights, I can't really see. So we are about to have the CEO, actually, with Fred Max and Kalpesh Mehta. But ladies and gentlemen, please, let's introduce the CEO one more time. And this is none other than Iain Usiri. Karibu sana.
Good morning, everybody. So we're about to switch into a more intimate panel discussion because you've seen what Ramani does, and now you've heard the topic of 100 million people. But now we want to talk to industry leaders to hear about how our finance sector and our manufacturing and energy sectors are preparing for this incredible population growth. I'm so honored that two of my mentors, really, are here and have agreed to come and speak with us and be on a panel. I'm going to introduce them one by one. I'm going to start by reading their bios. First, Mr. Fred Max from Stanbic Bank. Fred is a... KARIBU, Mr. Max. Frederick is a seasoned banking professional with a solid background in telecommunications and trade finance. He's now serving as C-suite executive in business and commercial banking at Stanbic Bank. He blends industry expertise with bold passion for sustainability, both in business operations and how they're financed. He's known for driving digital transformation and championing change. Fred finds fulfillment in building people, reshaping systems, and mentoring future leaders with purpose and vision. Karibu sana. I'm also honored to invite to the stage Mr. Kalpesh Mehta. Karibu. Kalpesh Mehta serves as the honorary consul for New Zealand to Tanzania, and he's a seasoned professional with 25 years of leadership experience across multiple industries. His career began at BP, where he held various leadership roles, culminating in his tenure as the CEO of Oryx Energies Tanzania. He has worked in telecommunications sector with Airtel, followed by leadership roles at Serengeti Breweries and a subsidiary of Diageo. Today, Kalpesh holds a non-executive directorship roles at Exim Bank, Alliance Insurance, and Ponea Health. And he serves as a board member of the Tanzania Private Sector Foundation, TPSF. Karibu sana. Guys, welcome on stage.
Thank you.
Relax, let's lay back, and let's dive into these questions. I'm going to start with Kaka Fred. Stanbic and Ramani, I want to talk about our partnership first, before start talking about the industry. Stanbic and Ramani, we've been working together now for a year, financing the FMCG sector. We've done tens of billions in disbursements. We just announced a new product, auto disbursements. From your perspective, what makes our partnership work?
Thank you, Iain, and congratulations to you and the team once again. I think what makes us work well together is our shared vision to solve for the domestic trade market in Tanzania. Stanbic Bank is present in Tanzania, has been here for over 30 years. So we have accumulated a lot of experience in financing in different sectors. Our passion for solving for domestic trade is derived from first the market opportunity that is there. It is estimated at $15 billion value in terms of the value pool. If you talk about supply chain and distributor financing, the area that you're solving for. So it's our shared vision, our agility, and our eagerness to innovate and so forth. The SME space is a key contributor to the GDP of Tanzania and many other African countries. And so solving for that segment provides an avenue for the bank to financially include as many people, because these SMEs employ people, but also in terms of economic contribution to the country. This is a key segment, and the largest employer. So our passion and eagerness to innovate, that is what makes the partnership work.
Fantastic. I want to stick with you for a moment, and I want to talk about the sector as a whole, the finance sector as a whole. As you know, credit to GDP, the ratio in Tanzania is 16% as of 2023. But in Kenya, it's 30%. In Vietnam, it was 71% in 2005 when they were growing at our pace. And in South Africa, it's 66% as of last year. How will Stanbic Bank help improve this, boost credit intermediation in order to support this growth of to 100 million people?
Thank you. We acknowledge that the industry has seen robust growth in terms of credit to the private sector.
Yeah.
If you look at Tanzania, the economic model that we used to have, we've started to see, I think, one of the segments that we saw for is the family-owned business. And if you look at the economic model, the market economy, I would say, it started in the 1980s. Yeah. If you compare us to other countries like Kenya and the countries that you've mentioned, they started a while ago. And then so you need to build skill, you need to experience, and you need to, and then sometimes experience it through mistakes. So the private sector in itself in this market is still, in my view, young, and it's now ready to take off. But it has been since the 1980s, 1985. Yeah. So we are starting to see now, in terms of formalization, governance structure, and solid family businesses that are present. So you're not, and sometimes I make this comment that in other countries, let's say maybe Kenya, you can have a first, second, and third generation. So in Tanzania, we're now seeing the second generation taking over the businesses. So the private sector in itself has been growing. There's a huge potential for further growth. And the growth that you're seeing is informed by that growth and the appetite for people to be in business. Okay. So in my view, I would say it's an opportune time for the private sector, and we're here to solve for their needs.
I love that answer. You're saying we're young, right? As a country, the sector is also young, and so we've been building that infrastructure over this, 30, 40 years, and now we're ready to go. I think that's what I'm hearing. I want to come over to you, Mr. Mehta, and I want to touch on a country that maybe has been, had a free market for a little longer than us, Indonesia. Now, when we look at them, especially in the LPG space and clean energy, they distributed 55 million cylinders, 43 million stoves to 50 million homes at a cost of about $1 billion. Now we look at Tanzania trying to achieve that. What mix of investments, such as maybe terminals, plants, etc., do you think that Tanzania needs to be able to drive this clean energy transformation?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, congratulations on the launch.
Thank you.
It's amazing and it's inspirational. So, ongera sana. Coming back to the LPG industry, and especially looking at Indonesia and Tanzania. I think you got to remember, Indonesia is 280 million people. Tanzania is 62 to 70 million people that we have. We have a long way to go. But it's all of the above in the sense that you mentioned. We start with import terminals. So today we only have 2 importation terminals where we receive LPG, which is Dar es Salaam and in Tanga. And it's only 16,000 tons, metric tons that we receive. So first and foremost, we need to make sure that even Tanga port receives the terminal LPG, so we can start receiving LPG, because it's all imported. So we need to have a receiving terminals that we need on our coastlines. Based on that, we need also LPG is only transferred on the filling bottles, on the canisters that we have. So we make sure we have enough canisters and enough filling plants in the country to be able to move from the port to inland. Then we need to make sure we have distributors who are able to rotate these things and make sure we form enough distribution points, including NGOs, and especially in the rural areas, we need to have proper NGOs whereby they create a whole ecosystem so that this business can continue. So we need micro-distribution, micro-financing as well, because as we go from Dar es Salaam to inland, the value of the pocket really goes down. So I think we need to understand that we need to factor every market segment from Dar to rural area. And last but not least, we also need policy and regulatory to make sure that safety is really built in so that LPG is a flammable product. So how do we manage and make sure that our safety standards are at the best of the heart of it? But having said that, I think Tanzania probably to reach the numbers Indonesia has, we probably need more than $1 billion to be invested in the next 10 years for Tanzania. But having said that, if it does invest, I think it's the benefit of economic benefit, environment benefit, and the whole Tanzania outlook will be improved. So it's a well worth investment to be done.
Wow. $1 billion worth of investment, Mr. Max. So you think you're ready to back that? $1 billion worth of investment, he believes, in the next 10 years. Do you think Stanbic is ready to back something like that?
As an industry, as a member of an industry, I believe there is an opportunity, that sector is growing. We see purchasing power increasing for the public, and more, I would say, focus on clean energy, and yeah. So I would say, as an industry, as part of the industry, we do believe to close the gap. As a member of an industry, we are poised to tap into that opportunity, because that presents us also as an opportunity for us as a bank. Yeah.
I can see Fred is a bit shaken, but he has a huge balance sheet to manage that. So don't worry, Stanbic can do this.
I want to stick to this topic of investing, okay? And I want to talk about the cost of capital. If we look at Tanzania's 10-year bonds right now, I want to stick with you, Mr. Max. 10-year yield bonds, the yields are 14%. And if we look at commercial lending rates, we're looking at the rates of 16 to 70%. If we try to compare to other countries that saw this sort of crazy or incredible economic growth, like Vietnam, they slashed their lending rates to 7 to 9% by the 2010s in order to drive growth and in order to support their booming population. What do you think are the key obstacles holding us back in terms of cost reductions, and where do you think Stanbic can help sort of bring these sort of rates down?
Okay, thanks. I believe that is an MBA question, but I will attempt to respond. I think in terms of the cost of capital, first of all, you need to acknowledge that most businesses, the majority of businesses in Tanzania are small and medium enterprises. That is a fact. And I think they're facing a number of challenges, one being access to capital, but also governance and record keeping in terms of do the financial institutions know these customers? So that is a challenge. To respond to that, as a bank, we launched our Biashara Incubator, that is a non-profit initiative to support SMEs with skills. So how do you record your sales? How do you separate the books of accounts from a personal use to the business? access to markets, and then access to capital. I think with this type of initiative, we are able to educate and incubate these SMEs to get to a level where they're able to access funding from banks. If you look at the formal banking sector, I still do believe that the informal sector is also sizable in this market, and that circulation is not in the banking sector. So how do banks lend to customers? Of course, they take deposits from the public and lend to entrepreneurs. So you find that that money that is not in circulation in the banking sector needs to come into the banking sector. Hence the financial literacy programs that, as I mentioned, through our incubator, that we are doing to encourage people to join the formal banking sector. And then the risks associated with lending to small and medium enterprises. I think we've noted, because of the challenges that I've talked about, you find that they tend to be a bit more riskier than your, let's say, employees or large corporates, because they have governance structures, they know how to run the business, they have treasury departments to manage the liquidity. So with that, and the informal sector, I mean, a big number of people being in the informal sector, I think at the rates that you mentioned, we've come a long way. At some point, we were in the 20s, and I think we're making headway. And there are sectors that are receiving special attention in terms of favorable rates, such as agribusiness, through guarantee schemes as well. And we also partner with DFIs to raise funding so that we can support the SMEs. So the milestones that have been achieved are significant, and I think it's worth also recognize the policymakers and the government for their support. So we're in a good space. Thanks.
Well done.
I want to touch more about the small businesses that you mentioned. Now I want to look at them in the LPG space, particularly the wholesalers that are reselling these cylinders that carry the LPG. And from our research, what we know is upfront costs for these cylinders act as a major barrier, as well as availability. So to support scale and reduce costs, how do you think we can encourage local manufacturing of these cylinders and stoves, and what partnerships and incentives do you think the industry needs?
I think for the penetration to increase in Tanzania, it has to be a complete package. And especially with the banner of the President's support as well, of 80% of Tanzanians should be using LPG by 2035, is the national vision. And I think that has to be done collectively from all angles. You just can't do as an LPG distributor or LPG importer. So it starts with the regulations. Make sure the regulations are conducive for the private partnership, PPP, to come in to be able to start manufacturing and having those plants locally rather than importing. So you need the canisters, you need to make sure there are plants to build the cylinders, the stoves. There's technology already out there in Turkey, in India, other parts of the world, can be brought here and produced locally. So once is that. Secondly, then is incentive for these industries to make sure that you foster proper businesses coming in, taking out the levies like the VAT, excise duty on that, so it becomes affordable for the consumers. And once you do that, I think you create a whole ecosystem for people to start enjoying the product that Tanzania has, which is much cleaner and the right thing to do. And once you do that, I think the whole economy will improve and our penetration of LPG will increase. So not only that, but with the local manufacturing, it creates employment. It improves our social economic behavior. So I think there's a whole ecosystem, and that's why I said earlier, it starts with the whole regime to come into play and create an environment for Tanzania to really grow from that.
So we need to create a more conducive environment first,
Indeed.
and then we'll see this growth happen.
Indeed.
Now, Mr. Max, I want to close with you. I want to finish with you. I want to talk about green energy financing. To achieve universal electrification as well as clean cooking, what we've seen is it requires about $13 billion to really achieve the objectives that we're looking for. But from what we look at across the border, Kenya raised about $1.4 billion to finance climate finance in 2021. How is Stanbic exploring things like green bonds, ESG-linked instruments, or blended finance models to support Tanzania's energy transition?
Thank you. At Stanbic, being a member of the Standard Bank Group, green energy and renewable energy is one of our focus for Africa. At a group level, we have arranged funding for that. And we have a specific, for example, a specific, or a dedicated, I would say, sustainability department that, among other things, look after renewable energies and green funding. We are known to be the market leader, for example, in this market for vehicle and asset finance. We've now we've now remanded to commercial and asset finance. Through that, we have solar financing, and we've partnered with solar distributors in Tanzania. And as a market leader in commercial asset financing, we're looking to leverage that to ensure that the acquiring cost to SMEs, to manufacturers, to the normal person is mitigated through financing, and we do provide that. We have a dedicated unit that looks after that, and leveraging on experience and our partnerships with our partners in China through our Africa-China corridor also. We do support the distributors that imports the solar panels or renewable energy assets cheaply, and we're also financing the customers. So that is one of the ways we are helping to close the gap in terms of the financing gap. But also in terms of infrastructure, we were very experienced in terms of raising capital, and we look at projects through our corporate and investment banking that are solving for energy needs. That is as a bank, and we also leverage through the experience that we have acquired in other markets. As I mentioned, we're part of the Standard Bank Group, and we're present in in more than 20 countries. So we will be launching to the market our renewable energy financing, and we welcome customers, especially the SMEs, to come and choose Stanbic.
And maybe I can add one more question for you before we wrap up, and this will probably be my final question. And sticking with the theme of trying to compare to comparable countries that have gone through this transition and where they invested. When we look at Vietnam, they did state-directed credit investment in agro-processing and manufacturing when they had this big demographic shift. Tanzania is currently absorbing about 1 million youth that are coming in looking for jobs every year. And that will be about the number by 2035. What do we need to do? What sector-specific targeted lending programs could Stanbic participate in to help grow these industries so that we can absorb those youth who are demanding jobs?
Okay, thank you. I think I get the tough question.
It's a tough question.
I mean, I like to observe trends, and if you look at the trends, and Tanzania is blessed with so many opportunities, be it in agribusiness, be it in agri due to its geographical location and position. So if I look at, when I'm driving, I see a lot of shops. Those are traders, and I think we've talked a lot about that segment today, and that's part of what Ramani is doing. But in terms of the agri value chain, for example, I'll pick that. So if you look at the chicken consumption, which is protein, the cheapest protein in this market, It is estimated Tanzanians consume on average per annum less than 1 kilo. So while Kenya is 2-point-something kilos and Zimbabwe is above 7. So there's a link between protein and as a source of nutrition and the cognitive abilities. So what I'm trying to say is there's an opportunity in that space in terms of agric value chain, in terms of poultry, for poultry farmers, and we're starting to see that. We're starting to see big companies, listed companies investing in Tanzania in terms of feed and in terms of day-old chicks production. So that tells something that there are key investments that are being made in this sector, and it is a focus that I would like to urge the youth to focus on because the opportunity is there. And I've just talked about poultry, but there are other sub-agric sectors that are also growing. For example, our exports of rice. Rice was not considered as a cash crop, but our exports of rice has been growing over the years, exponential growth. And now it is contributing in terms of forex earnings to the country. So there are many, many opportunities in this market in terms of the sectors that can be used to support the youth. But with that, we also need to be intentional in terms of human development. So my view is you can have a big population, which is a good thing, but you need to have a population that is capable of translating available opportunities into prosperity. So education, and starting from nutrition. So nutrition, education, I think that there needs to be a lot of investments that needs to go into that space. We've seen a lot of infrastructure development, which is good, but I think human capital, in my view, and this is my personal view, needs investing on, so that the youth can take advantage of the opportunities. I've talked about agribusiness, but we've seen other sectors growing, such as mining, which is growing significantly. Also, the local content theme is big. How many Tanzanian entrepreneurs are participating in the mining value chains? Yeah, so there needs to be intentional, and I think through the National Economic Empowerment Council, the government is doing a lot of work. We've partnered with them through our incubator to educate the youth in terms of the available opportunities. So for me, I think with the population that is projected, 100 million, presents a market opportunity, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done in terms of developing the human capital that can tap into the opportunities available. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think we're going to end it there. Please let's give our guests a round of applause. Mr. Kalpesh Mehta, Mr. Fred Max, asanteni sana.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
We did say before that we'll give you a chance to ask a few questions, just for a few moments for those who had specific areas of interest. All right, so if you have a question, just kindly raise your hand. We'll give this exercise about 7 to 10 minutes. Just raise your hands. We have the ushers within the aisles that will come to you. And let's make sure that our questions are not repetitive, just so we can get to the crux of the matter and then have a short tea break coming up, all right? So, Iain, take it away, all right? Any questions for Iain or any of the panelists, by the way? Or you guys are just amazing students?
We're going to have a short Q&A. Mr. Max, Mr. Kalpesh, if they have some questions for you, I'm going to ask you to answer.
Thank
you can
you.
answer from your seats. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much. First of all, good morning, folks. And Iain, Calvin, Joel, the whole Ramani team, congratulations. It's phenomenal what you guys have done. Absolutely phenomenal. I really took in well what you just said, and I hope everyone over here understands exactly what you do. Going back to the question when you're asking, when people are coming to you and saying, hey, Iain, what does Ramani do? So my question is, the transition from the beginning, when you guys, when you showed the picture, when you guys were, you know, carrying all the bulk stuff down to the merchants and trying to get that sold, all the way until you adapted, switched, and actually identified the 30-day gap where you could start funding that and actually get the business going around. Could you just share that experience a little bit more with us so that we can actually understand your journey and see exactly, for us entrepreneurs here, see exactly how we can sort of transition our businesses to mimic what happened with you?
Yeah. Thank you for that question. And sometimes when I tell Ramani's story, I kind of skip over the hard stuff. So let me talk about some of the failures that we had or some of the hard challenges before we got here. So I moved back, my brother moved back in 2019, and we were struggling to try to figure out what kind of business to start. And we started the distributorship business, and it was growing well, but you all heard about the challenges trying to scale that business. So we actually pivoted in 2020. We actually tried 3 different types of businesses. We shut down the first business, opened a second one, and the second one was just selling software to distributors. That wasn't growing fast enough, and we weren't earning enough, so we had to shut that one down. And the third one we reopened in 2020, while the world is still going through COVID, was combining software and credit. You know, part of that history too were some failed fundraisers. So we all know about the Series A, but before we figured out the credit and software and before we got that incredible growth, we were trying to fundraise from investors. But we didn't have the growth trajectory, even though we had a good background, we didn't have the growth trajectory to back a sizable investment from US investors. So we actually tried to go out to market. This was late in 2020, tried to go into market, and we actually failed. We didn't get any seed investors at all. And we had to come back to the drawing board. And we actually closed our first seed round in 2021 in March, actually just in time for my birthday, but that's after having to change the business that we were doing and looking for a new set of customers. And I'm really grateful, actually, our first customer was Chai Bora. I don't think a lot of people know that. And our first loan was a $10,000 loan for a distributor for Chai Bora. Trust me, Chai Bora didn't need the money, but they trusted the vision, and they gave us an opportunity. And by mid that year, we scaled to Tanga Fresh was our second customer. Mega Beverages was our third customer. At the end of that year, we got Coca-Cola Nyanza. So that's a little bit about our trajectory. A really, really tough beginning, but it actually took the community to support us, understand what we were trying to do, and put us in a position where we could succeed, and then we took off. And that's when the international investors came and started backing us. So it really started here at home. Thank you for your question.
Do we have additional questions? Additional questions from the floor?
Iain, this is David Tarimo. Congratulations to you and the team once again on an amazing product.
Asante sana.
As you've pointed out, it's a massive market, and there's still a lot to do within Tanzania. But it does seem that this product is so versatile and dynamic and relevant to the rest of the region. Can you share any thoughts around scaling it elsewhere and the opportunities you see? Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Actually, we built this company and our technology stack to be able to scale across the continent. I'll give you an example. The real-time camera network. We could have actually tried to get some out-of-the-box solutions from the US, from China, etc., but they actually would have been very expensive. The other thing too is we would have had to order them early and hold inventory in anticipation of customers that would order from us or join our network. Instead, we gave our engineering team a challenge. Build a camera network with locally available products. So everything that we've built comes from regular products like Hisense, a mobile phone, and some Ramani ingenuity. And so that's, which is actually a really big engineering feat. And we did this because we want to be able to scale across the continent efficiently and not have to spend a lot of money in terms of inventory costs in terms of our product. But this is actually how we've designed our entire system. So we have great ambitions to scale. I don't want to share a little too much, but we're in early conversations with some of our partners to try to go to some of our neighboring regions. But to be honest, what we want to do first is win in Tanzania. And once we win here, then we'll try to scale to neighboring partners. So thank you.
We have some questions from the same row.
Hello, Iain. Okay,
Hi.
this is Sig Junior from Brick. So, just asking from the startup founders ecosystem, what do you think you see that other founders in Tanzania don't see, like in terms of scaling, building the product, and just raising funds and stuff?
Thank you. I'm actually really proud that there are some members from the ecosystem here. We had Pray God from the Tanzania Startup Association. We have one of our good friends, John Howley, is here. He runs his own startup, Swahilis. We have another one of our good friends, Derek Kazimoto, is here. And so first, we're actually really excited by the other startups that we're seeing and by the buzz in the ecosystem. We've heard about, Tanzanian startups don't like to share the numbers that they've raised, but we've heard companies like Tembo Plus, for example, have raised great seed rounds. So they're showing a lot of investors are willing to come here and invest in companies that are scaling, that are growing. I think what's held us back in the past is probably market size. And not really that there isn't a big market, but Tanzanian founders communicating how big the opportunity that they're pursuing is. And if you don't have a clear explanation about essentially how much money you could make for this business in the long run, you sometimes can lose investors' interests from the beginning. So I actually don't think it's about the companies, I think it's about the storytelling, something that we need to improve as an ecosystem. And I think once we get that right, I think you'll see a lot bigger rounds happening in Tanzania. Thank you for your question.
Just one last question, please. Sorry.
Hi, Iain. My name is
morning.
Godfrey Ramba. Congratulations to you and your team.
Asante sana.
One quick question. I'm wondering whether you can take us through your fundraising journey or fundraising experience with respect to your to the fundraising that you did in the US. Thank you.
Yeah. Maybe I'll give you one anecdote. So I'll talk about our first fundraising experience in late 2020. So everything was remote. It was all online. And I had actually, lucky enough, one of my friends that I went to school with was a leader at a VC firm. So I was sure we were going to get a check. And I had pitched him, and it was going really, really great. And then he said, okay, well, I want to meet your co-founder. So I set up this meeting with Calvin. It was at the house, it was on Zoom. Calvin says, I wasn't on it, but the story goes, Calvin's pitching him, is pitching his partner, it's going really, really well, and then the room goes dark. Mwema KATIKA. And so you can still see the glow of Calvin's face, but this guy that's sitting in Palo Alto, the room, gets pitch black. And so needless to say, we didn't get the check. But what did we learn? We learned that we needed to control the details. So you can be sure that the next time we were fundraising, 6 months later, we rented an office where they had a backup generator, and we were pitching everything from the same space, from a specific room, which was well lit. And so, those challenges, those details, it doesn't mean that you can't do it. You just have to figure out the right path for you, trying to navigate, trying to operate in this environment. And so those are the little pieces that came together. I think maybe another story that I can share is, I mentioned a little bit about storytelling. So let me tell you how I used to tell our story before. I used to say, we work with manufacturers, and we finance their distributors that resell to Tanzanian consumers. And the story wasn't landing. And I had a really tough time, and so I asked, again, one of my friends who's actually a VC, and I said, hey, listen, please, I need some honest feedback. I need you to debug my story. And I told her the story, and she said, Iain, did you say manufacturer? I said, yes. She said, when you say manufacturer to me, I think Volvo. I think General Motors. And when you say distributor, I think somebody who's distributing to California. And so essentially the story I was telling people was that we work with Volvo to give their multi-million-dollar distributors $10,000 loans on inventory. And so you can imagine for US investors that are hearing the story, they're saying something is wrong. So she's the one that taught me to say, we work with brands. It's like, oh, brands, that's what they call them, brands, Coca-Cola, Serengeti breweries, to provide their micro-distributors. And then I define what a micro-distributor is. It's a distributor that sells within a 5-kilometer radius to provide their consumers, to provide them with 30-day terms on inventory. It's just words, but the story completely changes, and the credibility of that story completely changes. And so I think that's another part. And remember, I mentioned that the storytelling is really probably what we have to learn as founders in Tanzania trying to raise internationally. And so those are two anecdotes of what we had to figure out, and that got us to raise our first, was a $4 million seed in 2021. Thank you for your question.
Just one final question, all right? You last.
Well, the reason I'm asking is because everyone is asking this role. No, I'm just kidding. What's the story behind the name? My name is Anail Samuel.
Yep.
What's the story behind the name Ramani? It'd be interesting to know. Thank you.
Perfect question. So what we like to say is that the operating system for Africa's supply chains is pen and paper. And part of the mission of Ramani is to move Africa's supply chains from pen and paper to the cloud. And so we're digitizing these supply chains, and so we're creating a digital blueprint of Africa's supply chains, and so that's where the name Ramani comes from. Thank you for your question. Asanteni sana.
Indu, last.
Kuna nyingine?
Okay, congratulations Iain and Ramani family. My name is Jasmina. Yes, we understand that you have give us your journey to where you are now as a Ramani investment, but also you are really inspiring because we've seen where you come from and where you are now. My question is that we've seen the youngs of Tanzania, particularly Tanzania, thinking about after schooling, thinking about employment, they are not thinking about maybe self-employment. How do you inspire, or do you have a program, or do you think having a program to the youngs, inspiring them for self-employment and giving the testimonial and your journey so that they can learn and inspired to go for self-employment instead of looking for employment and being jobless like that? Thank you.
Historically, I think we were building behind the curtain, and we weren't really sharing our story. But I think now, especially with the traction, we see that there's a responsibility to share with other young people who have similar ambitions, one, that it's possible, right? And two, the path and the way. And share the challenges that we went through and what we were able to solve. And so, I agree with you, and I think you've noticed that Ramani now is telling more stories. We're hosting public, launch days. We're in the media, and so part of that is to build that momentum and to build that excitement for young people that something like this is possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Iain. Karibu sana, thank you.
Asante sana.
We'll see you later on. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, kindly pay attention towards our screens before we continue with this conversation. Ramani, I.O.
My name is Edson Kente. I'm from Stanbic Bank.
Let's hear it one more time for Ramani. Building for 100 million people. All right, this is a very interesting part, the finance part. This is a talk that will be done, of course, by the COO. I'd like to request you just to be upstanding kidogo. Sorry, just be upstanding if you don't mind. I can see some people are... Thank you, thank you. Just a quick one to make sure you're all awake. Some of you like this. All right? Even though it's a very interesting speak. So just you know, your arms and your legs without punching the next door, the person next to you. All right, sir, I can see you standing just as you are. You don't want to participate? All right, so here's what we're going to do. Very simple. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 3, 4. Shake the legs, yeah. And then last part is 1, All right, it's very simple, and we're counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, and then 1. All right, you guys ready? You guys ready? Let's do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Thank you. If you're out of breath, let's all go to the gym. Please be seated. Thank you so much. Let me welcome the CEO. Please welcome Joel Usiri. Come on, coffee tafadhali jamani.
Thank you. Thank you, Evans. I would now like to welcome to the stage Jafet Kisusi. He's a highly accomplished commercial lead with over 15 years of experience in the beverages industry, with a proven track record of developing, executing, and successful revenue growth and market share gains for the Nyanza bottling company, Coca-Cola. He holds a CEO apprenticeship from the program in Strathmore, and let me just say, he's been a fantastic partner throughout the years. Karibu sana. Karibu sana Kisusi.
Thank you.
And thank you once again.
Thank you so
Pole na
much.
safari. All the way from Mwanza, folks. All the way from Mwanza, just for us today. We really appreciate you. Thank you. So I'm just going to jump right in here. Let's kind of start from the beginning. As a commercial lead at Nyanza Bottling Company with over 15 years of experience, can you walk us through what some of the daily operational challenges the traditional beverages distributors face?
Yeah, I hope it's good morning, everybody. Happy to see one of my colleagues, Anael, here, and happy to see my CEO Roundtable Chairman, Mr. Tarimo. I'm the first intake of CAP program, which is very, very vital program for the leaders. So I see my colleague Anaeli, we are together in the journey. Thank you so much, happy to see you. Okay, back to your question. As a commercial lead, I will be mixing so that my trade partners understand what Ramani has helped them.
Absolutely.
I will take Swahili and English. So, because my distributor in Sengerema doesn't know English, but I want him to understand how Ramani has helped him. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, so as a commercial lead, the beverage industry now has a lot of challenges. Everybody now is thinking of starting water plant, soda, energy drink. If you say Coca-Cola the original, hiyo sentence utakuwa naongea mwenyewe. The all young boys doesn't understand. They just need affordability. It is 500 shillings, they'll buy anything. Nothing like quality, nothing like... so we are facing a lot of challenges, but we are managing, because when you see people coming in the industry, that makes you wake up and understand how do you deal with your customers, how do you treat your customers. So it's a challenging industry, but manageable, because if you work in an industry where there's no challenge, my dear friend, you will keep sleeping and thinking you are giant while your legs are cut. So we are happy to go with challenge.
Thank you. Thank you for that. And before joining Ramani, what were some of the specific pain points some of your distributors may have faced?
Come again?
Before joining Ramani or a few years ago, what were some of the pain points?
Actually, I want to make anybody in this room to understand that Ramani is very supportive to the business. I remember in 2022, when the CEO, Iain, walked in Nyanza, I was the one who made discussion with him, and I was like, hey, what is this boy saying? You want to lend money to distributors? So it took me a lot of time to understand from him. But then we were facing a lot of challenges before joining Ramani. You know, at a certain time when sales is difficult, when we're in a low season, unaona hata ukopeshe kwa muda kauze alipe. Lakini because we don't have skills za kusimamia mikopo, we were losing. When Ramani came in, They came in a very simple way. First of all, wateja wetu waliwapenda sana kwa sababu it is collateral free. Loan ni 2 days, 1 day you access loan. No complication from nani mdhamini and all that. So our customers were very happy and Ramani turned our volume. Those people were facing capital problem. Now, honestly, they are growing. They are growing in terms of what? In terms of market share, target month on month, companies gaining on cash flow, timely payment. So we are such happy as company and our customers are very happy with Ramani.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
how.
you. Thank you, Kisusi. That's very, very kind of you. And how might you say, what makes Ramani's financing model unique? I'm sure kuna institutions mbalimbali ambazo they offer similar facilities. What would you say makes Ramani's solution unique?
You know, Ramani, Kwanzia, the way you work, you are in Dar es Salaam. But for example, people in Nyanza, we have full support. Their staff roaming there. They visit our customer. They understand what are the challenges. They come to my office. We discuss the business. So I find Ramani more valid. It is a bit, I can't call it local, but it fits to the people who are on the grassroots level. It is not much scientific. It's simple to explain, it's doable, and is reachable to the customer. So I really call upon for the people who are not aware on how Ramani operates. They better get to learn and advise their distributors, because for me here, I'm speaking on behalf of my distributors. I hope maybe they are not here, but I'm the one dealing with them. We have almost 20 distributors with me dealing with Ramani, and they are all doing well since 2022 till date. And if my memory is correct, I hope only 1 out of 20. Only 1 dropped, and that was with a specific reason. No any defaulting rate I've never observed. So to me, it makes sense.
Thank you. And finally, to any other brands in the room today who haven't yet decided to take the leap and trust Ramani like you did also those few years ago, what might you tell them today?
First of all, my advice to the people in the room, I hope most of them are leaders in the different industries. Let's keep holding each other. When you see your fellow trying to come up with product and you know that you are the decision maker, please try to support. Just assume, if I could have blocked Iain to come to Nyanza, what would have happened till date? So I supported him. We all here leaders. Let's keep helping our guys who are coming with good ideas, innovation ideas, and that's how we grow together in the business. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Everybody, give Mr. Kadafi Kisusi.
All right, so please pay attention again, once again, to the screen for the brand distributor video.
Majina yangu naitwa Melkizedek Henry Maganga. Majina yangu naitwa Melkizedek Henry Maganga, ni General Manager wa Rupis. Rupis tunajishughulisha na uzaji wa mafuta na vilainishi vya magari. Kabla ya kuanza kufanya kazi na Ramani, tulikaribiwa na changamoto mbalimbali. Changamoto ya kwanza ilikuwa ni matatizo ya mtaji. Sisi kama wafanyabiashara wa mafuta huwa tunahitaji kuwa na mafuta mengi. Lakini kwa kipindi hiko kabla hatujakuwa na Ramani, uwepo wa mafuta ulikuwa unasuasua. Pia changamoto ya pili ilikuwa ni teknolojia. Sisi mara nyingi tulikuwa tunatumia kuhifadhi taarifa zetu kwa njia ya kawaida. Kwenye accountant tunaweza kusema kutumia cashbook. Lakini baada ya kujiunga na Ramani, tuliweza kupewa mfumo ambao unatuwezesha kuhifadhi taarifa zetu. Ramani nimewajua kupitia ndugu zangu. Na ndugu zangu walikuwa wanafanya nao biashara hapo awali kabla ya mimi kujiunga nao. Wanapatikana Ushirombo. Wao walikuwa wanajihusisha na uuzaji wa vinywaji. Ndio wakatupa habari za Ramani. Na Ramani wenyewe baadaye waliweza kufika ofisini kwetu, wakawa wametuletea bidhaa yao, nasi tukawa tumejiunga nao. Ramani walitushawishi kwa sababu ya mambo tofauti. Tunaweza kusema urahisi, yani kupata mkopo kwa Ramani ni rahisi zaidi. Wewe kinachohitajika uwe na vigezo vya kufanya biashara nchini. Nikisema vigezo, maana yake halmashauri yako uwe umekizi vigezo vinavyohitajika. Vile vile kama umeshaanza kufanya biashara, basi uwe angalau umefanya biashara kwa muda wa miezi 6. Kingine cha pili kilichoniweza kunishawishi kujiunga na Ramani, teknolojia yao, namna ya ufuatiliaji wa hesabu. Sasa biashara yetu mafuta ilituwezesha kuwa rahisi zaidi. Mifumo ambayo wanatumia ni ile ya kawaida kabisa ambayo inaendana na hali halisi ya mazingira. Mfano, unapokuwa na simu ya smartphone, yani unatumia WhatsApp, mifumo yao moja kwa moja unaweza kuitumia bila ya kupata tatizo lolote. Kitu kingine kilichonishawishi kujiunga na Ramani ni urahisi wa biashara. Urahisi kwa maana gani? Ramani baada ya kukupa mkopo ndani ya ule mwezi watakuchaji riba awamu ya kwanza. Awamu zingine unazoagiza mzigo hawatakuchaji. Vile vile Ramani na wao watakuwa na wewe bega kwa bega pale unapokuwa unakwama. Watakupa kila aina msaada kuhakikisha kwamba unatimiza malengo yako. Tofauti na taasisi nyingine, wao watakupa mkopo lakini hawatakuwa na wewe utakapokuendelea na biashara zako. Mwisho wa mwezi tu watakwambia rejesho limefika. Baada ya kujiunga na Ramani, tuna mabadiliko makubwa kwenye biashara yetu. Kulingana na changamoto tulizokuwa nakabiliana nao za kukosekana kwa mtaji, pia usimamizi wa biashara yetu. Sasa hivi walau tumesogea mbele. Upande wa mtaji, tunaweza sasa kuwatosheleza wateja wetu na tuna uhakika wa kuwa na bidhaa muda wote. Kwa hiyo wateja wetu na wao wenyewe wanajisikia furaha. Vile vile kusimamia biashara yetu, hatuna tena kuumiza vichwa hasa inapofika mwisho wa kufunga hesabu. Maana hesabu inakuwa iko sehemu moja. Ni wewe tu kutumia simu yako vizuri, unaweza kujua statement yako imekaa vipi. Vile vile unaweza kujua hata taarifa za wateja wako wengine unaofanya nao biashara labda kwa njia ya mkopo. Ushauri ambao ningeutoa kwa ajili ya wasambazaji wengine ambao wanahitaji kukua, wajiunge na Ramani kwa sababu kuu mbili. Moja, kupata suluhu la changamoto ya mtaji. 2, kupata suluhu ya usimamizi wa mitaji yao. Changamoto tunayokabiliwa na wafanyabiashara wengi wa Tanzania sasa kwenye swala la usimamizi wa biashara ni kwamba tunatumia teknolojia za zamani, tunatumia mazoea. Ukijiunga na Ramani utapata manufaa makubwa, kwa maana kwamba watakupa mifumo rahisi ambayo itakuwezesha kuiona biashara yako inavyokuwa. Nikitaka nielezee Ramani kwa sentence moja, naweza kusema suluhisho la wafanyabiashara wanaohitaji kukua.
Like here and now, they're thinking way beyond. This is the visionary kind of mindset we need. And let's give a round of applause, please, to the founders and the whole team at Ramani for doing amazing things. The questions that you had pending, just in case you don't have time to ask them, I'd just like to share a number. You'll send that question to this number, and then I'll make sure it goes to the right people. And maybe if we have a chance, we'll answer those questions right at the end. We only have a few items remaining, so let me just share this number quickly. All right, which is 0761 800 500. 0761 800 500. Any questions or ideas, thoughts? That number by SMS or WhatsApp, you'll get to the people that need them to be seen. All right, and without much ado, it's at this point in time I'm looking for my COO. Is he here? Is Joe here? Joe yupo? Oh, is it? Unajua hii stars inazingua sana. I can't see. Not that you're extra dark, but I just can't see you. So please, one more time, please, let's welcome the COO, Joel Usiri.
I'm not. How could you not see me, Evans? Come on. What happened? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for still being here. I know we're about to wrap up. Just a few more exciting things to go. Right now, we are going to recognize a few of our customers who've been able to make it today for their excellent performance for the 2025 Q1 and Q2. So just a bit of background about the people who come on stage today. These individuals are amongst a cohort of early payers. Early repayers, great repayment behavior, not on time, but early. It's also based on disbursement volume and reorders. That's the eligibility criteria. So, you know, there's some people. Sure. So there's some people who maybe order once or twice in a month, and then there's some people who order up to 5 times in a month. It's also, so we said disbursement volumes, we said reorders, we said early repayers, and just overall great people to work with throughout the year. But before I announce those names, we're going to just hear a few words for some of the customers who may have won an award today. That being said, please give a warm welcome to Umi for PJ and TK. Umi, everybody, Umi. Welcome, Umi.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Shukran sana.
Asante sana. Please, Umi, tell us what inspired you to choose Ramani as your financing partner?
Habarini za asubuhi. So, in front of you, mimi ni Umi Mahadhi kutoka PJ&TK Company Limited. Ni wauzaji na wasambazaji wa fuel and lubricants, meaning mafuta na vilainishi. And kama tunavyojua wafanyabiashara wengi, tatizo mojawapo tunalolipata ni changamoto ya changamoto ya mtaji. Or rather inaweza ikawa mtaji unao lakini is not as enough. Kwa hiyo Ramani umekuwa msaada mkubwa sana kwetu kwa sababu umeifanya kazi yangu imekuwa rahisi, kwa sababu accessibility ya mafuta imekuwa kubwa and my clients wanapata mafuta kwa wingi na kwa wakati. So you people are consistent and have helped us a lot to supply mafuta.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And what might you tell another distributor of fuel who hasn't yet taken the leap to join Ramani?
Ramani, kwangu mimi nasemaga kwamba Ramani hakuna mpinzani right now kwa all the people ambao wanafanya whatever they're doing, kwa sababu kwanza that technology is easy. It's not a rocket science. No brainer kwamba mtu yoyote whether ametoka kijijini yuko hapa Dar es Salaam, they'll be able to access the technology. Kwa mfano through your WhatsApp unaweza ukafanya uka-track your orders, na pia unaweza ukaangalia ni jinsi gani data zako umeweza kuzifanya either kwa mwezi, it depends on what history unataka kuiona. So technology ulotumia ni technology ambayo inaweza kumfikia Mtanzania yoyote. Nyingine Ramani hawana baya. So regardless of utalipa, regardless of everything, utalipa hiyo hela. So
they're easy on their clients. Their interest is good, and also, what else? Wafuatiliaji. Like, hakuna mfanyabiashara ambaye anajihusisha na mtu ambaye hatotaka kufuatilia on the development ya kazi yao, hususan kwa ile product ambao wameileta kwa wateja. So you people mnafuatilia. Let me give this to Jerry. Jerry from Ramani. Ananivumilia sana. Sometimes saa 9 usiku naweza nikaamka nikaandika Jerry, sidhani kama kesho natoboa. But he'll be there. He'll text me back like, I'll work on it early in the morning. So, Jerry, wherever you are, shukran sana.
There he is.
Yeah. So, basically hizo vitu ni vitu ambavyo Ramani anavifanya, na ningekushauri wewe ambaye una biashara yako, whether mtaji wako ni mkubwa au mdogo, but rather unataka kupata constant running of your business, Ramani wako hapa kusaidia.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Umi. Everybody, round of applause for Umi. No, actually, wait right there. And that will lead us conveniently to the first runner-up of Best Performing Customer of 2025 for Q1 and Q2. PJ and TK and Umi, everybody.
Thank you very much.
So PJ, as part of this, there is an award for you, but there is also a 350,000 shilling credit that will be put on your account there with Ramani. So hongereni sana.
Asante
Hongereni
sana.
sana.
Shukran sana.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Everybody, PJ and TK Umi, thank you very much. All right, thank you once again, everyone, for being here. It is now my privilege to bring today's event to a close. So good afternoon. I don't know if it's already afternoon yet, almost. First and foremost, let me start off by saying thank you. Thank you for being here at 8 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. Thank you. Thank you for listening. And above all, thank you for believing. Thank you. Today we focused on technology. We focused on progress, and above all, we focused on possibility. The possibility of what could happen when the right capital meets the right technology, meets the right partnerships to solve real-world problems. Today, we unveiled a vision where brands move stronger, distributors grow faster, and de-risked SMB financing becomes a reality for financial institutions here in Tanzania and across the continent. Today, you heard from those of us who are building towards this future. Our engineers, our partners, our customers, our leaders. You saw what's possible when trust meets technology and credit flows, not just to the privileged few, but those bold enough to grow. And that brings me to a simple truth, one that has guided us since the very beginning. The best way to predict the future is to create it. And that's what today is about. Not just imagining what's next, but building it together. We are building for 100 million people. Not someday, not eventually, but today. The mission is clear. The time is now. Welcome to Ramani. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Joe. One more time, please, for Joe Usiri. Joe, just remain on the flank of the stage, please. Just remain on the flank of the stage. And let me invite, keep them coming please. Let me invite the CEO and co-founder right now, Iain. Iain, karibu sana. And there'll be a photo op as well. These are the superstars. But of course, as customers, you are the real superstars, taking a risk on these individuals to make it work. Thank you. Few words.
Thank you so much. So this was unplanned. These guys are, but this was what we think a momentous event for us. And we're so grateful that you're here. And some backstory, we actually gave the full responsibility to our team, which was Irene, Mercy, who are full-time Ramani, and 2 interns. And they were running this whole show. They did a fantastic job. I'm sure a lot of you got a call from our young cousin Brandon, reminding you to attend. We loved the production. We're so proud of that team. And so we want to say thank you to them. So this is a bit of a surprise. So first, please, could we get the flowers on stage, please? Salaam. And Irene, Brandon, Mercy, and Lakeisha. Wherever you are, Brandon, if you're up there in the deck, please come to the front. Lakeisha, please come to the front. I know, you guys weren't prepared for this. Come on, come up. Irene and Mercy, please come up. Oh, they're sweating. They've been running around all morning. Thank you. Thank you so much, team. Come on stage. Come on down. This is Irene. Everybody, a round of applause for them. Irene, who was leading the logistics. Lakeisha, who's been running our social media. One of our interns, Brandon. We're so incredibly proud of him. Another one of our interns. Proud of all of them. And Mercy. Mercy did all the graphic designs, all the things that you've been seeing in social media as well as live here. They did this great work. So we're just incredibly proud of you guys, and we wanted to give you a token of our appreciation. So please, guys, please hand flowers to them. Karibuni. Yeah. Thank you, thank you. Another round of applause, team. Helen, Dinus, Asanteni. No, we have to take a picture. They're camera shy. Please, let's take a picture together. Guys, this is our awesome team that was running the show. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. And that's it for today. I think I'm going to invite Evans to wrap up for us. Asanteni.
Thank you. One more time for Ramani, shaping the next decade. One more time also for yourselves. Thank you so much for your patience. And they say patience pays. So outside we have a buffet. So at least we can get to the network more, have some bites before we move on to other activities this Tuesday. So having said that, thank you for your attention. Until next time, good morning. God bless. Thank you.
Feel free to take the hats with you. Those are yours. Thank you for being here.
some photos, please. Calvin, Iain, Joel, the team. With Stanbic on the stage, the whole Stanbic team. The whole Stanbic team who's here on stage, please. Let's get some pictures for the media. I'm gonna steal them away for a minute. That's it. Let me. Yes. Pictures, please. Pictures on stage, please. So, Cal, Iain. Sorry, the Stanbic team, please. The Stanbic team, and of course the distributors as well. All Ramani clients on stage, please. Ramani clients.